Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Shakespeare here with you on the 20th day of October 2022. I'm here with psychic medium and remote viewer Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
Well, at least we won't have any mix-up with the surnames. I was very impressed with that. You said Liz Cross. Well done. God. Well, this is a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. So this, yes, it seems to be today is the day on the 20th of October that Liz Truss decided to quit after just 44 days in office. I think she had absolutely no idea about what it was going to be like to be at the top. One of the problems about being at the top is there's only ever one way, and that's down. So, yeah. And the fact the knives were out from almost from the outset was not a good sign. So there's a lot of people that don't want her to cut the taxes in the UK. People might want to think about why that might be. So anyway, let's get a connection with Liz. Liz, please, Liz.
Yeah, she's been crying. She's embarrassed. She wants to just, go in a hole and die, really. She's just so embarrassed and she's so frustrated. It's impossible to get anything done.
So why did she quit?
Because it was just no use. She says, I was elected to cut taxes. That is the way forward. They all turned on me. And there's nothing else I can do to repair this situation.
When she says they all turned on me, who does she mean? Her, the banks or the fellow MPs, or who specifically turned on her in her opinion?
In her opinion, the country.
Right.
The country turned on her. I think she says, now this is her own personal thought, feeling, and opinions, not mine. She says, now this is what she's saying, however nice or bad this may be, which is they're all looking for handouts and we weren't given any.
Okay, but she was, she did have a plan of cutting taxes, which is, that is giving some money back, isn't it? What's wrong with that? Why do people not want that?
She's like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them. They expected the government to pay their energy bills, and the tax cuts were not enough. And she says these people don't understand economics. They don't understand the nature of running a business. And she says it just was a total failure. You can't have a country. She's being very harsh here. This is what she's saying. She says you can't have a country living on benefits, expect to have some sort of work ethic. And that's exactly what she just said.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that.
Well, I understand it too. I lived there for many years. I'm actually British. My whole family's British. I'm the only one in my family. Well, not now that I have children, but I'm the only one in my family with an American accent, because I grew up here. But, it's just a mess. And she's like, this is an impossible situation. She does not see the UK ever recovering from this. Now, we did a video yesterday, which moved somebody out into the future, and the recovery was terrible for the UK. And she says tax cuts are the way forward. Now, I understand this because living in the States, tax cuts help us. And I think were you trying to follow the American model? Yes, she was. See, there you go. But it doesn't work over there. You're telling people that you're going to save them £100 when they're facing energy bills of, up to 4,000, maybe 5,000 pounds a year. I understand both sides. I really do. Like I said in one of our videos, my dad is over there at the moment, and he's cold. Every time I speak with him, he's bundled up on somebody's sofa with like all of his warm clothes on, blankets. They are all sitting around in their winter coats and their dressing gowns. And for those of us in the US, a dressing gown is a big, thick, like cloth robe. And they're trying to stay warm because none of his friends or family, none of them are running the heat. They are not turning their heating on. They cannot afford to. So where do we go from here? I don't even know what to ask.
Who does she think will be her replacement?
Rishi.
And what does she think that he can do that she could not do?
What do you think that he could do that you could not do? Swindle the country.
How will he do that?
Well, he's going to make sure that he is able to give himself tax breaks. I don't know what's going on here. It's something about his personal wealth and tax. I don't understand that. Okay, she doesn't have a lot of confidence in him. She says he's as crooked as they come.
Right. But I mean, if they're going to reduce tax, that's what her plan was, surely. What's the difference between him proposing to reduce tax and her proposing to reduce tax? What's the difference?
Proposing to reduce taxing. But they're looking for handouts. This is the problem. That's what the British public wanted to hear. You're all getting a massive handout. Not handout through tax breaks, but cash in their pocket. That's what they want. And she believes that's what he'll try to deliver. That's the only way to survive.
He will give them handouts, will he?
That's what she says. I mean, she's saying, that's the only way you are going to survive right now as prime minister is by giving handouts, incentive payments, printing money, even if in the long run it hurts the economy. At this point, she says, people don't care. They just need the money and they need it now.
So why didn't she do that then if she knew that's what would solve the problem? Why didn't she just capitulate and do that?
Why didn't you just capitulate and do that? Because then it makes her look like she's just appeasing the public. And she's not prepared to do that.
Right.
She tried to backpedal. She really did. But because of that, people lost all confidence. She didn't want to backpedal. She didn't want to issue an apology. She was forced to issue an apology. But she says when the people are turning against you, that you can't stay. It's impossible. They would never have given her a fair chance from this point on.
Right. Does she regret going for the position of prime minister now?
You regret going for the position of prime minister now? No.
Okay.
She doesn't see anything wrong with her proposals, but what she misjudged is the fact that people want handouts.
Right.
Now, for those of us outside of the UK, they may not understand that. Okay, but I understand it, and you understand it. Mm-hmm. And it is a serious problem. Like here in the USA, we just don't, right? You get the bare minimum to survive. You don't, and even if you do, you live in, I just don't even want to go into it because it it makes me look like I'm taking a political stance, but it just, and I don't take a political stance, but I understand what this is about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, put her forward to the end of the year, 28th of December, please.
Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Who ended up taking her job as Prime Minister?
Who ended up taking your job as Prime Minister? I think Rishi.
Okay.
And he's not doing a good job.
Well, that was the question I was going to ask. What does she think that the new Prime Minister, how's he faring then?
See, they're going to learn that it doesn't matter who is in office. The economy is going to be bad, right? It doesn't matter who's there. And if your own party, she's saying, are tying your hands behind your back so you can't do anything, and they're just willing to ride it on out, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter who's in who's the prime minister.
No. Well, that's absolutely true.
Well, that's what she says.
Well, that's true. Doesn't matter who's prime minister. It also doesn't matter who's prime minister when things are doing really well, because a lot of prime ministers or a lot of ministers and MPs and politicians will claim credit for it, and when it's got nothing to do with them either. Okay, well then none of them are bigger than the market, and the market always shines through, doesn't it?
And that's okay. You know what? That's very true, because we've done so many probes in the past. I mean, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and somewhere in the ether there's a lot of videos where it doesn't matter who's in power. It's the billionaires who rule the world. They're the ones who dictate what happens. They're the ones who hire the legal teams, who have the lobbyists, who give, funding through the back door to whatever agenda they want pushed. I mean, they're the ones in control. So you're absolutely right. It does not really matter if it's Truss, if it's Biden, whoever it is. The power is no longer really with the government. It's in the hands of the billionaires.
Yeah. Okay. Put her out to the end of
I think that's too far.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, right. I do. I think with this situation, it's so volatile.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to save the UK. And, when we did a probe yesterday, unfortunately, we're not going to put that video up, but we did a probe yesterday, which is a year out. Nothing had been done. Nothing. They just want someone, and this is coming through from her, they just want someone they can control.
Of course. Of course.
Right? That's what she just said.
Yeah, well, she's right. They do.
Controllable. She did her own thing, and she thought she was benefiting, the ones with substantial investments and substantial, she was benefiting the wealthy, and hopefully it would have trickled down to the, mainstream population, but it wasn't enough. They want handouts, and they want them yesterday.
All right.
Like I said, my dad is over there and he's cold, right? And not only is he cold in people's homes and our family's homes, he's cold in the shop. The shops aren't even putting their heating on. He was in Marks and Sparks, and he called me while they were sitting around having a cup of tea to get warm in the shop because it was so cold. And everybody sitting in the shop had on their winter coats, their woolly hats. Like, it is cold. And the shops, nobody's running their heat. Because if the shops run their heat, Liz Truss is telling me, she's like, then ultimately they have to put the prices up. All the goods and services, they go up again. And the British public cannot take any more of it. So she's telling me, she's like, it's going to be a cold, dark winter.
Okay. What does she think's going to happen in Ukraine with the new prime minister?
What do you think's going to happen?
Are we going to keep sending money to Ukraine? Is the UK going to keep sending them money?
Yes. It's in their best interest to do so. Because it's, and I think she's told us this before, it's easier for the Ukrainians to fight the war than the world to get involved. But I'm saying to her, the Ukrainians are going to probably lose. Well, at least they tried.
Okay.
This is a mess. The UK is in a mess. And this, you know, when
we're paying the ferryman. We've had too much free money for so long. We've had near enough zero interest rates under her predecessor. You know, the interest rates that the Bank of England have been able to charge have been pretty much near at zero. So no one's earned any yield. No one can earn anything through savings. Everybody is forced to be, you know, a speculator, a gambler. So, I mean, you know, she's part of a Conservative Party that's been part of this. So even if she hasn't been Prime Minister, you know, for that long, certainly her predecessor. We have had, I mean, we have had, you know, interest rates that have been almost on the floor for how long now? 15 years? Yeah. I mean,
that started in 2009, 2008, 2009. They lowered the interest rates to help people. And it's never increased until now.
Right. But this is the problem. This is the problem because you're lowering the interest rate so that people can either borrow money. Well, they borrow money to buy houses. You know, nobody borrows money to start businesses. There's no real economy in the UK. It's just service economy in the financial sector. You know, that's what it is.
I was there in 2008 when something like 250, 300,000 people were made unemployed in one day in the city of London. And it was a disaster. Businesses shut down. Black cabbies who made a fortune out of, you know, just driving around, ferrying people around in the city of London, which is your banking district. If those of you outside of the UK, and they were going bust. I mean, it was bad. We left shortly after that. I was like, I'm not raising my kid here. I'm so sorry. I love the UK, but I'm not staying in London. And so we left. But those interest rates have always stayed low. And she's saying they really want the UK to print money and give people handouts. The problem is, now this is good, what she says here. And I'm saying, yeah, but that long term, that's going to work. She's like, I know. It's not going to work because these fuel prices are never going to go back down. They're not going back down.
Right, but the problem is if you give everybody free money, then there is no such thing as free money. Then all that will happen is it will come back. You know, I mean, then the IMF gets involved and then you're controlled by external parties. You know, she should read Confessions of an Economic Hitman by, who did that? John Perkins, was it? I mean, this is how they destabilize countries.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. This is a mess. And Rishi's not going to do much. He knows how to survive.
yeah, but he's a
not gonna take any bold
multi-millionaire through his wife, so it doesn't matter to him, does it?
But aren't most people on that side of the aisle?
No.
No, the Tory party.
No. Oh no. There
Okay.
are some. There are some, but not. Don't forget, his wife keeps her tax. She's non-domiciled, so although they're married, I don't know how, but she doesn't pay any UK tax or something because she's kept her money offshore or something. I don't know exactly what it is, something like that. But there was a big hoo-ha about it a few months back.
Okay.
She's got a lot of family wealth. Anyway, all right, that's enough for Truss. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll end this one here.